The quiet town of Pine Ridge was the kind of place where everyone knew each other. Tucked away in the Colorado Rockies, it was a haven of peace and serenity until the day they came. The roar of engines shattered the calm as a gang of outlaw bikers known as the Iron Serpents rolled into town. Their reputation preceded them. Violence, extortion, and destruction followed wherever they went. At the heart of Pine Ridge stood the sheriff's office, a modest building that had seen more snowstorms than crime sprees. Inside, Sheriff Hank Cooper, a retired Marine Corps captain, watched the bikers from his window. His steely eyes, hardened by years of combat, took in the scene with quiet resolve. "Looks like trouble," Deputy Sarah Dawson muttered, standing at his side. Hank nodded. "We'll handle it." The Iron Serpents thought they had found another town to terrorize. What they didn't realize was that Pine Ridge had its own storm brewing, and it was wearing a badge. The Iron Serpents parked their motorcycles in front of the Pine Ridge Saloon, a local watering hole. The gang's leader, a burly man known as Razor, stepped off his bike and surveyed the town with a sneer. "Easy pickings," he said to his crew. Inside the saloon, the atmosphere grew tense. Locals whispered nervously as the bikers sauntered in, their leather vests emblazoned with a coiled serpent logo. Razor approached the bar and slammed his fist down. "Whiskey, now!" The bartender, an older man named Charlie, complied with shaking hands. At the sheriff's office, Hank watched the scene unfold through the security cameras installed around town. His jaw tightened as he recognized the gang's insignia. "They're here for more than drinks," Hank said. "They want to take over." "What's the plan?" Sarah asked. Hank grabbed his hat and adjusted his gun belt. "We remind them this isn't their town." Hank and Sarah walked into the saloon, their presence commanding immediate attention. Razor glanced at them with a smirk. "Sheriff," Razor drawled, "nice of you to join us." "You're not welcome here," Hank said, his voice calm but firm. "Take your crew and ride out." Razor laughed, a low, menacing sound. "We're just having a drink. No harm in that, right?" "I'm not asking," Hank said, stepping closer. "I'm telling you to leave." Razor's grin faded. "Or what?" Hank met his gaze without flinching. "Or you'll find out what happens when you mess with Pine Ridge." For a moment, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Then Razor shrugged and stepped back. "We'll finish our drinks and be on our way," he said. Hank nodded and turned to leave, but he knew it wasn't over. Men like Razor didn't back down that easily. That night, the Iron Serpents made their move. They raided local businesses, smashing windows and looting stores. They torched a car dealership and spray-painted their logo on the town hall. Hank was ready. "Sarah, get the locals to safety. I'll handle the Serpents," he ordered. Armed with a shotgun and his service pistol, Hank patrolled the streets. He moved like a ghost through the shadows, taking out the gang's lookouts one by one. When he finally confronted Razor, the town square was littered with wreckage. "I warned you," Hank said, leveling his shotgun at Razor. Razor sneered. "You think you can stop us? We own this town now." "Not while I'm breathing," Hank growled. The firefight that followed was brutal. Hank moved with military precision, using his knowledge of the town to outmaneuver the bikers. One by one, they fell, until only Razor remained. Cornered in the burned-out remains of the saloon, Razor made his last stand. He wielded a machete, swinging wildly as Hank approached. "You should have left when you had the chance," Hank said. "I'm not afraid of you," Razor spat. Hank shot the machete out of Razor's hand and grabbed him by the collar. "You should be," Hank said, before delivering a knockout punch. With Razor subdued, Hank called Sarah to report the town was secure. The next morning, the townspeople gathered to assess the damage. Despite the destruction, their spirits were high. "We're rebuilding," Charlie said. "Thanks to you, Sheriff." Hank nodded. "This town isn't just a place. It's a family. We protect our own." As the bikers were hauled off to prison, Pine Ridge began to heal. Hank knew the town would face challenges again, but he also knew they were stronger now. "Come on, Sarah," Hank said, tipping his hat. "We've got work to do." Pine Ridge would stand tall, and as long as Sheriff Hank Cooper was around, no outsider would ever take it down.